As well as guarding the crown jewels and repelling tourists, the Tower Guard take part in one of the greatest institutions of the Tower.
Halt! Who comes here?
The keys!
Whose keys?
Queen Elizabeth's keys!
The ceremony of the keys. Much of modern life at the Tower of London is determined by ancient traditions. Perhaps the most extraordinary ritual of all takes place every single night of the year, behind closed doors.
The ceremony of the keys is an ancient tradition. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years without a break. I don't think there's been a single night that it hasn't happened for 300 to 400 years.
I think we can safely say it is the longest running uninterrupted ceremony in the world. We carry out the ceremony every single night of the year, including Christmas, when we don't have any visitors. But even though we have no visitors on Christmas Day, we still carry out the ceremony. The actual ceremony is conducted either by myself as the Chief Yeoman Warder, or by my deputy, the Yeoman Jailer, or the 4 Yeoman Sergeants who assist us. And our task is to ensure that all the gates of the tower are locked and secured each night at 10 p.m. Each of those that conducts the ceremony of the keys, we have our own start time, but the finish time must be spot on 10 p.m. Me personally, I would leave the Byward Tower at 9:53 and 35 seconds, knowing full well that the speed I march at, it's ample time for me to pick up my escort, lock all the gates, get back to where the main body of the guard are on the Broad Walk steps. They will then present arms under the command of the officer of the guard. I will then take my 2 paces forward, raise my bonnet and proclaim "God preserve Queen Elizabeth." And as I do that, the clock chimes 10.
There is hard evidence that the ceremony of the keys is the world's longest unbroken military tradition. Its roots can be traced back to the reign of Edward III, 40 years before the Peasants' Revolt. The Tower of London, built over 900 years ago as a fortress and a palace. From the very beginning, walls up to 15 feet thick not only protected kings, they also defended their most valuable possessions. The tower is no longer a working castle or royal residence, but it's still home to the most famous jewels in the world. The crown jewels, worth a king's ransom, guarded in the tower for hundreds of years. The crown jewels are best known now as a spectacular tourist attraction, but these have always been working jewels. They're still a potent symbol of monarchy, and today, some of them are on parade. For one day a year, they take center stage in British politics. In the tower's jewel house, one of the star attractions is missing. The imperial state crown has gone to work. Travelling in its own coach, it's on its way to Westminster for the state opening of Parliament. 2 miles downstream, the tower marks the occasion with a gun salute. The nation's treasure house provides the jewels that represent the power of sovereignty. Beyond the pageantry, this is a key yearly event in the political calendar. The Queen, as head of state, travels to Westminster to announce the government's forthcoming plans.
Number 2! Fire!
It's the Queen's major constitutional day of the year, and the imperial state crown has its annual day in the national spotlight.
My government will introduce legislation to implement.
At the tower, the governor, Major General Geoffrey Field, is waiting for the jewels' safe return.
They've been out for a particular purpose, and the Royal Household officials are bringing them back this evening. As keeper of the jewel house, it's my job to receive them back, to sign for them, and then to lock them up and keep them safe.
Job done at Westminster. The Crown Jeweller sees the Imperial State Crown safely back on board. Precisely how the jewels get back here to the tower is a closely guarded secret. Once they arrive at the Jewel House, the governor, as keeper of the Jewel House, has ultimate responsibility for the safety of 10 crowns, over half a ton of silver, and thousands of diamonds, including 3 of the very largest in the world.
Right, so we have the Imperial State Crown and the Great Sword of State, which we'll unpack once we're inside the Treasury. Who's got the pen?
I haven't.
The pen. Right. On a day-to-day basis, I'm responsible for making sure that the Crown Jewels are secure when they're at the Tower of London. And that is, in a way, quite an awesome responsibility. I mean, you would not want to be the keeper of the Crown Jewels who lost the Crown Jewels, would you? We could do with a new book to reflect the fact we're now in the 21st century.
We'll look forward to that, and you want me to see it very soon.
Right, let's go.
Okay.
The treasures in the tower have always symbolized the power and wealth of the monarchy. The Tower of London, a palace, fortress and prison, but also Britain's oldest tourist attraction. Today it's still one of the most popular sites in London. Up to 46,000 visitors pass through these gates each week. It's on every tourist trail. Even Nelson Mandela and Madonna have come here for a slice of old England.
Can you tell me where the ladies' room is?
Can I tell you where the ladies' room is?
The human face of the tower are the yeoman warders, better known as beefeaters. The tower is not only the yeoman warders' place of work, it's also their home. It has a secret life of its own after the tourists have left. In the evening, the tower once again becomes a private community unseen by visitors. For the first time ever, the tower has allowed outsiders to witness a member's initiation. Today, Simon Dodd is being sworn in as a yeoman warder.
Both faithfully and truly in the office I am now called unto, that is to be a yeoman warder of the Tower of London.
I, Simon Dodd, do swear to serve Her Most Sacred Majesty Elizabeth II, both faithfully and truly in the office I am now called unto, that is, to be a yeoman warder of the Tower of London.
And in all things touching...
To become one of this select body of just 38 yeoman warders, all these men have completed at least 22 years meritorious service in the armed forces. Simon Dodd is the latest in a very long line stretching back over 500 years.
Yeoman Warder Simon Dodd, you have now been sworn in and are a member of the body of yeoman warders of Her Majesty's Tower of London. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
For the last 25 years, Simon has served with the Grenadier Guards, specialising in radio telecommunication. Now he has to learn something entirely new.
Welcome to Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London. It's my pleasure today to be your guide whilst we look back over 900 years of history.
Let us talk about the executioner. He was normally a giant of a man, dressed in leather, wearing a mask. Calm down, ladies.
The executioner would immediately bring down his axe and hopefully behead his victim. He would turn to them and proclaim, "Behold, the head of a traitor."
The head became raven food because these carnivorous birds, they would land on the necks, peck at the flesh, the fresh meat, the blood and the veins.
Just as London taxi drivers have to memorise the knowledge, Simon has to master 900 years of history before he can play to the crowds. To help him is yeoman warder Chris Morton.
Okay, do you want to give me what you've got? Have you learnt any yet?
Yeah, I've learned a few bits and pieces.
Give me this first paragraph here. We'll recite what you've learned.
All right then. Right then. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome
Your name?
Sorry, yes. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Simon. Welcome to Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London.
Okay, that's a good start. Right, now remember that when you're doing this tour, there may be as many as 200 people standing here, so you need to project more out to that way there.
Right.
Okay, this is now day one of learning this 900 years of history given to the public in 55 minutes. Every spare opportunity that you get, you've got to be learning this.
Right.
Any opportunity. It's going to take, it took me 3 months. You'll hate this, you'll hate me, you'll hate everybody until you've learned this.
If he wants to remain a yeoman warder, Simon will have to prove he's good enough to guide the public. To pass, he has to satisfy the Tower's toughest critic, the governor.
You're looking for someone who's got the presence and the personality to put the story across well, who's got a good delivery. Because bear in mind that not everyone is trained to be an actor, which is really what they're doing, but they're remarkably adaptable, and some of them are incredibly good.
Anybody here from Australia? G'day. Welcome home. Any Europeans here today? Hands up, all the Europeans. Okay, let's have a look. Anybody here from Germany? Guten Tag. Is there anybody here from Great Britain? Yeah. Isn't that Europe?
Only 25% of the Tower's annual visitors are homegrown. The British may take the Tower for granted, but for foreign visitors it's much more...
Fantastico. It's beautiful here. I mean, there's so many things here that just are fascinating.
Yeah. It's real. Of course it's real.